Good morning and welcome to 365 Days of Amazing Stories with Theo Mayer. Here we are, I believe on day 195. So remember, I'm doing 3 entries this very day. That's why I keep showing up in the same t-shirt, on the same look, same hairdo, same slightly growing whiskers. And why? Bear trouble. Anyway, they're very, very content today. The one thing that's very interesting is that bees, they are navigators. And they get used to being in a certain place. And when they're moved, the worker bees that go out to harvest, even though they're in a new place, if they haven't paid attention real well, they go back to where they remember the hive used to be. I remember I moved 5 hives, and right now, if I go out there, there's hundreds, if not thousands of bees buzzing around, trying to find where the hives are. So anyway, about an hour ago, I took a hive out there, an empty hive, put it in place there so that if any did return, or when they returned, hopefully they'll go inside that hive and kind of call it home. It'll probably be a mixed batch of bees from various hives. And I'll give them a day or two. I know that they're completely queenless. And then what I can do is I can take that bunch of bees and I can add it to one of my weaker hives. Now, if you were to take a bunch of bees from one hive and put it into another, the war would likely take out because the worker bees are beholden to one queen. But if they've been without a queen for at least 24 hours, they tend to accept their situation, queenless, and when you put them with a queen, even though it's not theirs, they will accept her and work for her as they would of their own. So anyway, I'll be able to strengthen some hives, I think, in this process. Where the hive was that got knocked over by the bear that I had to move, same thing happened there. I moved it during the day and so many bees returned. I put a box out there and there's probably 1,500 bees or so in that box. And by the time I move them, I'm sure they will have even started making some comb. They get started working right away, even though they don't have a queen. All right, enough of bee stuff. I'm continuing today with 1001 Arabian Nights, the story of the 2 Viziers. Now, Sit al-Han was the name of the daughter of Shams al-Din. And I told you how the demons, they carried Badr al-Din, Nur al-Din's son, to this place where Sit al-Han was to be married to a hunchback because the king of Egypt was angry because Shams al-Din wouldn't marry his daughter to him. Now, things were going on. Badr al-Din had been instructed by these demons that he was to distribute money anytime the singing women, attendants, or the bride herself would present, in front of him and the hunchback. He was to step forward and distribute gold. He joined the ranks with a large candle and went straight in. And the women were so taken by him that they really didn't want anyone to marry Sit al-Han, but Badr al-Din. She was presented, Sit al-Han, she was presented to the bridegroom, the hunchback, and Badr al-Din 7 different times in 7 different outfits. And each time when the singing women would come in, the attendants, they would look at the hunchback, but then turn toward Badr al-Din. They would do their singing toward him. They would do their presentation toward him, but not not to the hunchback. Imagine being the hunchback and feeling what that was like, that this guy that just kind of showed up got all the attention. Time and time again, these women came out and performed in the same way. And these women were wives, daughters of prominent people in the social scene of Cairo. And all of them wished for nothing more than Sitt al-Han to marry Badr al-Din. Well, remember, 7 times she was presented in various gorgeous outfits, dazzling ornaments, jewelry, gemstones, beautiful hairstyles, perfumes. She was equally as beautiful as Badr al-Din. People that saw either one of those praised God for having created someone so beautiful. Well, things went on, and at a certain point, the bridegroom was to get ready to meet his wife. Remember, go to the baths. And as they stood up, the bridegroom actually said, the hunchback said to Badr al-Din, you know, you've just happened here and captured all the attention. Everything was presented to you rather than him. Would you mind at this point just leaving? Badr al-Din said, oh, fine. And he started down the hallway to leave. And the demons had been watching over all of the proceedings, and they saw where he was coming. They said, where are you going? This was not how we instructed you. This is not where you're to be going. And he stopped, and the demon said, turn, go to the bathhouse, for you are to be bathed, and you will be the one to marry this evening, not the hunchback. And remember, the hunchback stood up and went to the privy. And there was frightened to death by the demon, who in the end told him to stay there until the sun rose, or else he would lose his life, and stuck him head first into the privy, covered with things that we'd rather not see or smell. Badr al-Din went into the bathhouse, bathed. And from there he was led into the bedchamber where the husband and wife would be together for the first night. And he was led in and behind the canopied bed. And there he sat. Now Sitt al-Han had been prepared as well, bathed once again, hair done again, put in the most divine garment, and then brought in to the bedchamber by an old woman. And when the old woman got to the canopied bed, she said, curse you, you hunchback. You don't deserve this woman. Curse you. For she did not know what had taken place and what had been designed, of course, by God the Almighty, to take place. Through who? Well, through the actions of these 2 demons. When she came and she drew the curtain back, and there before her was Badr al-Din, and she was shocked. She said, oh, you are still here? And he said, yes, of course I am still here. And she said, why are you here? Are you to share me with the hunchback? Are you to be my husband as well? And he said, I am not going to be sharing you with him. He said, what are you thinking? A wretched man like that marrying you? This shall not take place. It shall just be you and me. Did you not see how the women, the singing women, the attendants, whenever they presented to me as the groom and not to him? Did you not see them laugh at him and mock him? Your father put him up to this just so that it would be a comedy of errors. Sitalhan could not believe her ears, nor her eyes, because each time she had been presented, she turned from the hunchback and turned toward Badr al-Din. The two had gazed at each other over and over again, exulting in the beauty that they saw before them. It was beyond anything that either had ever expected. To be so drawn to admiring another person in this world of form. She was delighted to see Badr al-Din sitting in front of her and telling her this, that the two of them were to be man and wife and not that wretched hunchback. And so she sat down next to him. And we'll leave the story there, as Scheherazade did as well. Tomorrow, Saturday, remember we'll have a little input about my life as a steward. And thank you for joining, and hope you have a good rest of your day.